Hey guys, Mike here. So definitely an interesting day in the market for sure, and I'll show you what I'm talking about because it was basically kind of like three stocks and then a handful of others kind of holding this whole thing together, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Had some stocks with some big days, one we talked about in last night's video, and that actually played out pretty darn well as we do have earnings and a boatload of economic data coming out tomorrow, okay, as it starts to thunder in Florida. Yep, about to get some rain here. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll talk about the economic news that came out once again over the last 2 days has been bad for sure. Today was weird because we got bad news, and yet what happened to the 10-year? It spiked. Same thing happened last week, and we basically kind of got the same resolve today that we got last week. So let's look at that real quick, and then we'll go into some big stocks like Amazon and Tesla and stuff that has some really big days, okay? So check it out. And so as you can see, we start off here with the new home sales today. Well, not good. Big decrease right there, much bigger than they were expecting. I mean, who's surprised? I mean, up at the top there, if that was a stock chart, you've been shorting it for a long time. So no surprise there at all, even though for some reason the 10-year spiked on that news, which is kind of shocking. Then you go to manufacturing news, came out yesterday. Any manufacturing news we get is hot garbage. Orders and everything is still in contraction. You can see it's still under zero line. Everything's still in contraction. So manufacturing, again, looks like it's been in a recession for like 2 or 3 years now, but the market don't care about that. And then when we look at the market day, it was basically three stocks. You got Apple, Amazon, and Tesla, super green. Everything else either flat, red. You had some discretionary stocks doing well. Obviously, FedEx did well because of earnings. It had a huge pop today, so I kind of drug that area up a little bit. But mostly about these three big tech stocks. And congratulations to Amazon being welcome to the $2 trillion family right there. It is a rare company. And of course, and one reason it popped, for those who don't know, is they own a boatload of Rivian shares, and Rivian was up 30 to 40% today, which I'll talk about why in just a second. So of course, that stock pops that much. Amazon is going to be a beneficiary of that as well. And real quick before I forget, let me give a shout out to one of our members, Mr. Gray, and his wife. I don't give out compliments easy, but I can definitely tell you one of the nicest people I've ever ran across in my life. Okay, so shout out to you, Mr. Gray. Appreciate you being in there and all that you contribute to the Discord, my man. And you can see right here, Volkswagen decided to plow $5 billion into Rivian to develop EV software. So of course that helped Amazon out. Plus you had Amazon doing something on their platform, building something else out. Then all of a sudden B of A comes out, maintains them as a buy, and gives them a price target of 220. So raise it from 210 to 220. So that was a good thing for Amazon. So all around, good news day to day for Amazon. And you know, when you look right here, funny thing is you can see finally break above the all-time highs. And when you go in price discovery, remember there is no resistance above you, right? So you can absolutely have one of those FU candles right there, which happened. But the funny thing was, I was telling a member, I screwed up the chart right here. I've been obsessed with this channel we've been in forever, right? And it's been working. But when you take it away and look at it, what do you see? Anybody see anything right there? You see an ascending triangle, just like Tesla. You can draw it out right here. And so I got so tunnel vision on that channel, which had been playing out just fine, that I missed this part right here, which of course what happens out of ascending triangles is explosive moves. You know, we've had one false move up and then boom, just an absolutely explosive move come up. There was one thing it did today, which I'm going to show you that I'd like to see happen tomorrow. It did not happen today. It happened on Tesla's chart, which I'll show you on a higher time frame, what I want to see. But if you happen to be a member, make sure you check your email or go watch this video I just did on Amazon yesterday for you guys saying Amazon play coming up. This was not the Amazon play I'm talking about. There's one coming up here in July. So make sure you watch that. I know a lot of people don't check their emails and all that good stuff, but make sure you check that out. And if you want to get access to it, just go down in the description, click on the link in the bottom, become a member for less than a McDonald's combo. Now, when you look over here at Amazon, you can see what happened on the smaller time frames. It tested the previous all-time high, which I like to look at, but it did not do it on the higher time frames. And I'd love to see this come down tomorrow to make a definitive retest of this level to start that move up. That midline in the channel right there could be resistance coming up as well. So just watch that one if you see it, because I will put the channel back on that. We broke out this ascending triangle. But again, you know, the reason why I say that is because when you go back and you look at the previous times when it broke the all-time high and stuff, what happened? It ended up failing after it tried to retest, and it did not. So that's what I like to see tomorrow, to continue this move up for sure. Now, I will tell you one thumbnail that hit the nail on the head yesterday was this one right here. That's a Tesla chart in that thumbnail getting ready to explode, and boy, did it explode. Now, I did not expect the Rivian news to come out. You can see right here, boom, it actually dropped down when it opened up, which kind of surprised me, and then just took off. See those big candles right there? And before you know it, it's up 2.5%. Quick little retest. This is a 1-minute chart, so it's happening fast. All right, quick little retest down here to get in the fair value gap, and then just took off and it was up like 4% before you even knew it. Testing what? That trend line we talked about, right? We've been talking about the descending trend line for a while, saying that would be, your target would be definitely be hitting, and it definitely hit it. And when you're looking at where this thing can go, if it continues to move up, obviously this is a big move today to digest. You can really kind of see, right here when we kind of zoom out a little bit, 199.29, and then above that there's a gap right there between like 199 and 202. See it right there? And so watch that right there to get filled. And right above that's another major trend line. But you can see on the hourly, unlike Amazon, this came down and tested that trend line twice and bounced. And so it turned what will be resistance into support right there, which is good to see. Don't mean it can't fall back through it. Now, Nvidia, everybody's looking at where this thing is going. Right here on Monday, why did it bounce there? More than not, when you look over here at the weekly expected moves, you see Nvidia right there, 118.50 was the weekly expected move. So it was getting stretched to the downside, and a lot of calls started rushing in, a lot of puts were already out there. So boom, it bounces, we come up, we grab liquidity in those fair value gaps we've already talked about and mentioned. It's back above the anchored VWAP right there, the monthly anchored VWAP that is. And so that is holding right now. But people, of course, want to say, where is this going to go? Where's the next grab here? Where are we going to be moving? And the truth is, if you're a bull, what you're looking at right here is you want to see this level right here get broke, right? So right around 128 right there. And if that can get broke and retested, then of course we're on the move. So it looks something kind of like this right here. It comes up, boom, we break through, retest would be nice. Doesn't have to do it, but that's always great. And then we move back up, right? That trend line above it will definitely be resistance. You can see, that's just how stocks move, right? It loves to test previous supports, things of that nature. And if you're a bear, it's pretty simple, right? You want to see that low right there on 117.50 get broke, right? As it moves up, you want to see it try to come down like it's doing right there, come back up, fail to break through 128-ish, whatever it is, or maybe fail right here when it gets more liquidity, and then come back down, break through, retest, and drop, right? So that's pretty much what you want to see. Let me know which direction you think it's going to take. Now, Pan W, watch this one. Is another ascending triangle. It's been beaten up on that, but it has a gap above it. Actually has two gaps above it. And so it makes, when it does happen, it's definitely going to be an explosive move. No ifs, ands, buts about that, because it's going into a gap. And again, we've kind of talked about this thing. You know what? If it drops down the bottom of that same triangle, I would definitely want to get calls, because the calls they're expensive. They're not cheap, okay? But again, that would be a huge move up, especially if you're in calls to do it and stuff. And when you look, why it being explosive move up, you pull up the volume profile, you see why, because it's going into a gap, right? And you saw explosive Tesla was, it wasn't even going into a gap. You go into a gap with no resistance, it's going to be a rocket ship, right? And so again, that over there at 380, that's all-time highs, right? That was the earnings drop that we had, that it still has not recovered fully. So, and again, you don't have to front run stuff like this. You can obviously, if it breaks out, wait for the retest, like you saw in Tesla multiple times in the higher time frames, and even Amazon got on the smaller time frames, and go get in from there and get your confirmation, right? That's the safest bet. Now, Celsius, again, people keep asking about this one. We warned about not front running, but I did put this fair value gap right here, and like 2 weeks ago, I said, maybe it comes down here, be careful and get liquidity. That's exactly what it did. So maybe you might start to see that bottom forming. It actually went green at one point in time today, had a nice big move from 152 to around 156. And so maybe it's going to start to finally form out a bottom. And so when we look at the stochastic, look at the RSI on this one again, it has bullish divergence on the RSI, right? You're seeing lower highs up there, seeing higher lows down here on the RSI. The stochastic needs to turn back around. But again, your largest moves, you just pull this up for yourself. You will see this. Every stock is different. But with this one in particular, when that RSI breaks that moving average up, gets above the 50 level, that midline right there, and your stochastic gets up around 82, somewhere in there, that's when you get those big, big moves. All right, that's an earnings candle, so don't even look at that. When you look at this one, right, it got above 50, stochastic was above 82 right there. Don't look like much, but that right there is a nice 21% move. The one thing I hate about Celsius more than anything is I think the options just suck on this thing. So you kind of got to buy the shares, but so every once in a while you can find some, but it's not some, I don't know. If you what your favorite option chain on Celsius is. I'm gonna keep looking at stuff, but a lot of them are just terrible, and the spreads are horrible on a lot of them. So, you know, just a thing to look at. And you can also sell like puts in this thing and collect premium. If you want to do it that way, it's usually the safer bet. And if you get assigned, you get assigned, right? But again, this moves same way over 50, 82 on the stochastic, 17% move up. So again, and that trend line right there, the ascending trend line will be resistance when it does come up, should be, for sure. So it was support for quite a while. Now, when it comes to earnings, Nike's the only one I'd worry about tomorrow at all. Again, every other discretionary stock has bounced. I ain't saying they held the gains, but they did bounce, okay? And Nike's been pretty beat up. Now, a lot of data coming out Thursday before the opening bell. Final GDP quarter over quarter, unemployment claims, durable goods, final GDP index quarter over quarter as well, pending home sales. And so definitely probably going to be a volatile day tomorrow for sure. We'll see how Nike, if it's going to be another one of these things we don't need, but the stock is so beaten down, it gets a big bounce on earnings and everything, just like the last 5 we talked about has for sure. But, you know, let me know what you think down the bottom, what your prediction is on that one for sure. And of course, we'll know how MU reported, because that will affect semiconductors as well. So if you got anything out of this, please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out as usual. Really appreciate it. Want to sign up for the membership? Less than McDonald's combo. Just look down in the description. Real easy to do. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow.